Good evening, the healing journey. We're on this learning journey together. We want to welcome you to our last show in Black History Month. This has been a great month. There are a lot of things that have happened, and we're excited to share good things with you as we close out Black History Month. We're going to be talking about from the inside to the outside, motivation, change, and things of that nature. I know that some of you might be impacted at this time if this is, you know, a few months into it and this is all new for you, but we have to adapt to that change and know that change is good. So, Lee, welcome this evening. How are you?
I'm good, Lynn. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing just fine. I
Great.
am doing good. So, we are the healing journey, we're the learning journey, but we're a part of Our Lessons Learned Incorporated, and that is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and we're here to help the loved ones of those recently incarcerated or those recently arrested. We're here to help the loved ones or the caregivers. You never know what to do or how it affects a person until it comes on your doorstep. So that is what we do. Leah and I went through similar situations and we said we never wanted another loved one to go through what we went through. So this is our way of giving back to the community. We're a community-based organization. We work off of grants and donations only. We do, if you go to our website, we have a QR code there and you can donate to the cause. Those donations are used to help others in times of crisis. Lee?
Good evening. Good evening. Very well said, Lynn. Tonight we're going to talk about motivations and new beginnings from the inside out.
Mhm.
Motivation is driven by our desire for stability, personal redemption, and responsibilities. It focuses on securing employment, housing, and education to overcome stigma and recidivism. The justice and individual's desire is to build a new life, a new productive life that provides worth beyond their past action. They desire to access support necessary for long term success. So, tonight, let's look at some of the individuals that have positively noted history linked to to their past incarceration. Last time we looked at Kevin Pittman.
Mhm.
So tonight, let's look at others that are of African American descent because we're in the month of February, and that's the month that we set aside to recognize Black history. Well, there are plenty of history of new beginnings that arose as a result of being justice impacted. Let's take a look at some of those individuals who overcame the employment barriers, who reduced recidivism, and have focused long term stability through partnership, education, and with legal support.
Yes.
Let's take a look at Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
Well, he was in prison for 27 years under apartheid in South Africa. After his release, he became South Africa's first Black president. His leadership helped dismantle apartheid through reconciliation and democratic reform. To take away with that, Lynn, is moral leadership and restorative justice. How often do we talk about restorative
Yeah.
justice? We
Yes.
it out
Exactly.
again.
Exactly. Look what he did. Then let's look at Meek Mill.
Okay.
Meek Mill was incarcerated multiple times due to probation violations. After release, he is the co founder of Reform Alliance, and that's based out of New York. That is such a powerful organization. His impact has helped change probation, parole laws in several U.S. states. Why he matters? Because it turned personal injustice into policy level reform. And that is what it's all about. We need reform in a lot of this. Then let's look at Shaka Senghor
Mhm.
and 19 years for second degree murder. After the release, the author, the MIT Media Lab Fellow, Justice Reform Leader.
Yeah.
The impact was the prison education reform, violence prevention, and national advocacy. Clinically, identity, transformation, and accountability and purpose. It is so important. These are people. Then look at Glenn E. Martin. Glenn
Okay.
E. Martin was incarcerated 6 years. After release, founder of Just Leadership USA, major voice in decarceration and leadership development for formerly incarcerated people. He helped push those closest to the problem lead to solution. I want you all to listen to what we're saying. These are people that had to sit down, but when they rose up more powerful than when they went in.
Yes, they did. Yes.
Lee, let's
Let's
look at politics and civil leadership.
okay, who do we have there under there?
We
Let's
have Michael Tubbs.
Michael.
Michael Tubbs, he was
Mm,
incarcerated a brief juvenile detention as a teen. Afterwards, he became mayor of Stockton, California at 26 years old. His impact, he led the first major universal basic income pilot in the US,
yes, he did.
often used in youth prevention and second chance narratives. And he's a politician. Yes. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Lee.
Yeah, he now serves as special advisory advisor for economic mobility and opportunity for Governor Gavin Newsom, and he's currently a candidate for a governor for California in the 2026 election. That's
Yes.
Mike Stubbs. He was
That is
incarcerated.
awesome. That's awesome. Who else do you see on there from the political standpoint?
Well, I might have to bounce around a little bit because I well, let's look at
Let's talk about Bakari Sa.
Bakari Sellers. Yes, he attorney and former member of the South Carolina House of Representatives. He
Mhm.
was arrested during the civil rights protests. He wasn't convicted long term, but he was a Democratic nominee for lieutenant governor in South Carolina. That's my
Mhm.
home state, so I that's why I like to.
He was the youngest black. Yes, he's your homeboy right there in South Carolina.
Mhm.
Wow. And he's useful when discussing activism and system contact. I mean,
Yes.
think about this. Bakari Sellers, I want you to think about all of these young black men. When
Mm-hmm.
they rose up powerful. Let's look at the education, thought leadership, and writing. There is Reginald Dwayne Betts, incarcerated 8 years as a teen. After release, Yale Law School graduate, acclaimed poet, legal scholar. His impact was on the national voice on incarceration, literacy, and juvenile justice. He founded Freedom Reads, which is in prison libraries. That is so awesome. That is so awesome. How about Jared Adams?
Jared Adams. Okay, now I kind of forgot him a little bit, Lynn. You might
Okay.
invite me to him.
He had something with the juvenile detention. After release, became a wrongful conviction attorney. His impact, he helped free wrongfully incarcerated individuals. Strong redemption plus professional excellence story. Woo!
How?
Wow. Powerful black people right here. This is powerful. And then look at the business and entrepreneurship. Damon John, brief incarceration, arrested and detained as a young man.
Yeah,
Afterward, founder of FUBU. That's the Shark Tank investor. You know,
that's
for us by us, or for you by you, for us by us by you. The impact, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, education, often resonates in financial literacy or reentry conversations. Whew. And then look at CoSmart, incarceration, 5 years for drug related offenses. After release, he founded Con Body, a fitness company employing formerly incarcerated people. His impact, business plus reentry employment model. Who do you have, Lee?
well. Let me just say also with Con Martin. Now he also in 2023. Um, well, he was fully licensed to sell recreational cannabis in Manhattan, and he was fully licensed. In 2023, um, he opened a second location in the Bronx. Now, we have to look at the fact that in 2021, New York legalized the sale of recreational cannabis and expunged all past convictions for marijuana related offenses. So that's one of the things that he was incarcerated for. But he came home, he came out, and he turned that around and made it a business venture for him and is doing very, very well with that.
Awesome. That's so awesome. So now we're going into the culture with measurable impact. Let's talk about the music. Let's talk about the culture. We have Gucci Mane, incarcerated multiple times after release, a major career reinvention, sobriety, business ownership, impact, cultural influence,
Mm-hmm,
public mental health, sobriety narrative. That's
mm-hmm.
awesome. Then we have everybody knows T.I. And T.I. is in a new show too. I just saw that. He was incarcerated. He did federal prison time. After release, business ventures, community advocacy, mentorship programs. And
Yeah.
then we're going to look at patterns worth highlighting, especially those in therapy and education. Modern success after incarceration often includes education or skill building while inside, narrative reframing. I am more than my charge. Let's make that a phrase. I am more than my charge.
That's good.
You are more than your charge.
Mhm.
I think the loved ones should adopt that and say that to their loved ones. You are more than your charge. That's a
That's
powerful statement.
hmm
Advocacy tied to lived experiences. Yes. And then structural support, opportunity, not just willpower. There's so many opportunities, but we have to renew that mind to think differently. And the thinking starts from the inside. That starts from the inside. These examples are especially useful for justice involved clients, teens and young adults, group therapy, reentry program, church talks, and countering my life is overthinking. So many people said, I made a mistake and this and that. My life is over. It's not over. Jehovah has the final say. Your life is not over, it's just beginning
hmm
because there's so much more that God has for you to do.
That's
So
right.
he had to sit you down for a moment so he can have your full and undivided attention and implant that new vision. Because the Bible says the latter shall be greater than the former. So once you come out, you should be a changed person. And there are so many different things that we've been talking about this month, and how there are resources out there to help you with that change. Lee, would you like to add anything?
Just looking at the number of people that we're looking and highlighting this month of Black History, there are so many others that we didn't bring out a highlighter. So you look at Tupac.
Yeah.
Uh, look
Tupac
at when
Shakur.
we look, well, Tupac was in prison for 11 months. And after his release, he created some of his most influential music. You are appreciated. His impact was culturally commentary on poverty, racism, traumas, and resilience. We looked at, when we go further back and stuff, Lynn, I don't know if we looked at Eldridge Cleaver,
No,
who
we
was,
didn't.
we did?
No, we didn't.
Oh, okay, Eldridge Cleaver, writer and political activist, leader of the Black Panther Party, imprisoned several times, wrote Soul on Ice back in 1968. He influenced Black political philosophy and discussions on race, masculinity, and justice for the justice impacted. We look at Malcolm X. Did we do Malcolm X?
No, we didn't.
In prison more than 6 years. After his release, he became one of the most influential civil rights leaders in the United States history. His leadership tremendously impacted the Black empowerment, as we are human rights aware. He developed intellectual foundations while incarcerated. Good things that are coming out of all of these great people that we talked about and looked at. Frederick Douglass, Shakar Sigor that you mentioned, Meek Mills, T.I., Glenn Morton, Michael Tubbs, Bakari Sellers, Damon John, Cos Mann. And we also want to look at others that influenced the era and are doing wonderful things in that time. Also, like um, Brian Stevenson.
Yeah.
He's a widely acclaimed public interest lawyer. He wasn't in prison, but his story is relevant in the History Awareness Month because he founded the Equal Justice Initiative
Hmm.
and dedicated to help formerly incarcerated or justice impacted individuals, as well as the poor and condemned. And let's see if we can think of any others. I really was looking at or wanted to see or highlight if we could, if we had some females that we could bring out or so. Didn't do too very well in there, but all the males that we to spoke in reference to um, did wonderful things and stuff. But there was Patricia Lewis, who was the women's Huron Valley Correctional out of Michigan. And if you can look at some of her story behind bars on the factualamerica.com. And did we look at Frederick Hudson, entrepreneur,
No, we
kid
didn't.
public defender? We looked at Reginald Peterson. Did we look at David Clark, who was mental health awareness advocate? All of these came as a result, so out of the social justice impacted era or so that we're so much in. So very much that to be concerned with this month and as we recognize our history and those that are impacting us in a positive way. There's a lot of positive stuff that comes as a result of the change that unfortunately has been encountered with the justice era.
Yes. Those were, I'm so glad that you brought those up, Lee, because, when you really look at it, it's just you're more than your charge. When you just brought that out, you're more than your charge. That has just resonated with me tonight.
That,
Thank you
that's right.
for bringing those additional people up as we end Black History Month. And they've been prominent in the Black history. And, I still say that through your pain births your purpose and
Exactly.
things come out of it. So look at each one of these that went in for a cause, but they came out to embark on something that could help everybody else with their cause. So that's so awesome. So we just wanted to highlight you on Black History Month, as we only get this to do in February. And we wanted to close out this month by letting you know you never know what's going to happen. So keep that party motivated. You stay motivated so you can motivate them and give
Yep,
them into the hands of God so God can continue molding and making them into what He would have them to be and do.
that's right. There is
Lee?
some,
Yes.
there is survival in the victory lane to our
Yeah.
impacted individuals. Be encouraged because
Yeah.
growth is possible. And as Lynn said, you are more than your charge. You do
Exactly.
find by your past. And to our
Yes.
caregivers that we speak so often to, our loved ones to our caregivers, our loved ones who are supporting family members and loved ones that are justice impacted, you too be encouraged. This journey belongs to all of us. We learn as we grow and go to the end of this. So stay strong and reach out during these low times when it seems difficult to go on. Our lessons learned support you and would love to hear from you. We miss you to be a support of encouragement and our connection for you on your journey. So let's look at the positive along the way that can come out of this. Be encouraged. They are more than their charge.
Yes. I like that. You ended that perfectly. So until we see you to get again, we will see you in March. We do have special guests that are going to be joining us in March. But until we see you again, we want to leave you with this: peace, be still. Good night, everybody.
Good night.